Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the call today, or the webinar today. Let me just give you a couple of words about Infosys for those of you that may not know the company. I'll throw a few statistics at you rather than showing you a slide. We're about a 250,000 person company based across the world. We're based primarily in Europe, APAC, and of course North America. We have we're revenue about $13.5 billion. In Europe, quite specifically, we have about 16,000 people in Europe, working with in 28 countries, working with a whole range of large telcos, specifically in this case, but of course companies across all different segments. Specifically in the UK, we've been present in the UK since 1995. We have 4 offices, 2 in London, 1 in Edinburgh, 1 in Nottingham, about 2,500 employees. And yeah, we've been working with BT for a while, so we're very delighted to be invited here today. So without any further ado, let me move on to the main topic of the presentation. And let me introduce the webinar. Just for reference today, it'll be largely a non-technical presentation, so we won't be getting to any of the details or the technical stacks, etc. And we're really looking at the promise of 5G and Edge pretty much from an operator perspective and seeing what the opportunities are for operators. And the reason why we think there's opportunities is that we believe this is a game changer for the telcos, for operators. If you look at the previous kind of iterations of mobile technology, these came at they incurred huge capital expenditure for operators, but the value generated generally went to other companies, to OTT players. So an example, 3G launched the whole smartphone market. And one could argue that created the behemoth or relaunched the behemoth that is now Apple. 4G reinvented social media and streaming, which created huge opportunities for the likes of Facebook, Google, Netflix, etc. But we believe 5G is an opportunity. It's a different opportunity for operators, and that's because there's a fundamental paradigm shift here. And the paradigm shift is, it's not just about the increased bandwidth, increased speeds, the lower latency. It's really that fact that the architecture behind 5G is different. So we're moving from the 4G, which was a centralized hardware-driven architecture, to a decentralized software cloud-native architecture. And this will enable operators to look at how they can create new markets. And when we say create new markets, working with industrial leaders in different vertical segments, working with system integrators to create new solutions, in areas like automotive, healthcare, energy utilities, and so on. We know this because it's happening already. We're already working with customers to create, with customers and outside and with operators to create solutions for areas like autonomous vehicles, augmented reality, etc. And we'll give some examples, some specific examples later on. Now, when you combine this opportunity with what's happening in IoT, what we call the Industrial Revolution 4.0, where you can have a high amount of devices connected across different environments or different kind of use cases with low levels of latency, which gives real-time, big data, large amounts of data. This enables services to be delivered in a different way, and services can be delivered at the edge of the network rather than in the center of the network, which gives a different level of automation, a high level of automation which hasn't existed until today. And then when you couple that with disruptive technologies, your artificial intelligence, machine learning, this will enable enterprises to create a new type of service, a new user experience, and therefore new revenue streams for them. And we believe that operators working with system integrators and working with some of the industrial giants can create, operators can be in the middle of this and can create complete new revenue streams and complete new kind of enterprise structures moving forward. So to take you through the details of this, I'll hand over to my colleague Srikanth and let him go through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Subhi. Subhi has narrated what is the so-called promise of 5G and Edge all about, and what it basically brings as a difference to telco and moreover to the enterprises. Now let me demystify it slightly by taking you through what is this roadmap going to be for the next 10 years or so. In our view, we can see this roadmap in 3 horizons, horizon 1, 2, and 3. Horizon 1 is all about setting up the infrastructure, making sure all the 5G infrastructure is in place, connectivity is in place, reachability is there, and all the basic necessities of a 5G network is available for use. Horizon 2 is where we believe that this will slightly merge with the broadband and make it become a fixed mobile converged network. Then mostly the bandwidth savvy applications get into market and get used. And Horizon 3 is where the so-called fancy use cases like the immersive media, connected vehicles, tele-robotics, all of them will come into being, right? Now the question obviously comes like why there is no timeline being put for this, right? That is primarily because this depends upon the technology roadmap of the country. It also depends upon the availability of resources like the spectrum in each of the country and the overall, direction of the technology and the maturity in a particular area or not. So if you look, most of the North America, Europe, Australia has almost probably at the end of the Horizon 1 or somewhat in the early beginning of the Horizon 2, whereas some portion of the Southeast Asia and Africa might be probably somewhere in the beginning or the middle of the Horizon 1. So it really depends upon each region or area technology maturity and how the technology curve moves forward. But apparently the movement and the direction will be somewhat like how we have mentioned in this slide, right? Now, what is going to happen in Horizon 1, if you go into the details, that's when basically like I told, infrastructure deployment happens. The movement of that horizon further would be the current, like the transitioned 5G infrastructure will become more standalone. So the standalone 5G will come into being. Then it will become more reliable and ultra low latent network. And then finally, it will become a 6G network somewhere towards the end of this decade. That's the expectation. Now, the next layer is all about the IT and the platforms. The IT and the platforms will move from what you call the current discrete systems into a more cloud native infrastructure, more flexible infrastructure, more orchestrated infrastructure, and finally something which enables a complete self-heal way of handling it. So that probably will happen in the Horizon 3. Then comes the application. So the current applications which are using 5G are mostly bandwidth savvy applications, typically high definition media content ones. Those will move from a combination of like connected and reliability dependent use cases like remote guided vehicles, autonomous vehicles, then finally into a tele-robotics like remote surgery and so on towards the Horizon 3. So this is how each layer of the technology will progress across the horizons. Now let us see like what is the big picture for telco, right? So the big picture for telco is that telco has a really big opportunity to play here. If you look at the right-hand side of this diagram, we have told that telco can become an end-to-end player in this ecosystem. So how, right? Now, if you look, telco primarily is playing the role of an enabler. So Subi has rightfully mentioned in the beginning that for all the hard work which telcos has done by putting down different network at different point of time, there are a different set of players who actually gone and taken the benefit of that network the maximum, right? So you have seen the maximum amount of money which is being made out of the network currently by the 4G and high bandwidth is the OTT players and the hyperscalers. So telco played the role of a connectivity enabler for them. So what we see is that in the future, telco has the potential to become an end-to-end player. How? By vertically integrating the telco edge infrastructure, providing applications on top of the telco provided edge infrastructure, and also hosting end-to-end B2B customer applications on top of it. So now it is not an easy jump to move from this left-hand side role into the right-hand side role of end-to-end player, right? There is a role of integrator in between. So that is the the roadmap which most of the telcos are currently taking or in the path of taking, where there is a hybrid environment where there is hyperscaler edge, there is telco edge, and there is also hyperscaler provided applications and telco provided application. And hence, it is essentially very important to stitch this ecosystem properly together at this current horizon where we are in, so that will enable telco to move to an end-to-end player in the next half of this decade. So let us see like how this ecosystem look like, right? That's what like the next part is all about. In the how the ecosystem is different from previous ecosystem, and in the current 5G edge ecosystem, how it is. So if you look previous to 5G and the edge which we are talking about right now, um, the previous generations of technology ideally had only very simple three players: the suppliers of the technology, so-called the network OEMs or the systems vendors, then the telco who integrates all of them, and the users, which was primarily B2C and B2B customers mainly for connectivity. So that's how the ecosystem was there. But now, if you look, that ecosystem is expanded into multi-dimensional. So first of all, there are newer set of open and open source standards which are available. I mean, some of you might have heard of Open RAN, TIP, Open Networking Forum, ONAP. These are different standard bodies which are driving software-defined, orchestrated, open elements and open standards in the market. So this is one dimension. The second one is the platforms has become more and more flexible and cloud native. An example could be that the previous generation of the wireless, which is 4G, we had basically the core network virtualized, but the rest of the network pretty much is all embedded. Even the core network, which is virtualized, mostly was deployed as somewhat an on-premise non-cloud model, right? Now 5G is completely cloud native. The entire 5G core is cloud native, containerized elements which can be deployed on any x86 hardware or hypercloud ecosystem. The Open RAN has made the RAN part also somewhat disaggregated and virtualized, right? Mostly software driven, deployable on x86 hardware, interoperable, flexible with multiple components. So the whole the network ecosystem has become more open and flexible products. Then the ecosystem integration itself, right? So like I mentioned, the earlier ecosystem was simple, but now it is a combination of hyperscalers, the infrastructure vendors, the OEMs who are become more software product driven, then the newer standards, then there are niche players providing very niche, closed loop assurance, cloud orchestration solutions, right? So the ecosystem integration itself is a totally different program by itself. Then comes the models, the services. The services has all moved from what you call the discrete bespoke models to as service models. People now like to consume the services more than actually building everything from end to end, right? So the as service models has become more predominant. Now, use cases is extremely important for 5G and edge. For all the hard work of putting such kind of a high bandwidth, highly resilient network, the vertical use cases are really important, which addresses like the verticals like media, retail, health, manufacturing, automotive industry, utility, etc. So we will talk about some of the use cases in the coming slide. And finally, the enterprises who are the ultimate consumers and whom you are trying to monetize this network are all becoming more and more live and digital. So most of the enterprises has their own digital roadmap, which is enabled by technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, analytics, then multi-channel and omni-channel digital channels, etc. Right? So this is also another dimension which needs to be thought through when you are actually trying to build the network, and then as an operator who are trying to vertically integrate. Now, what is the role of Infosys in it, right? So Infosys believes that we are best placed to help telco build this ecosystem together, integrate this ecosystem together, and accelerate this whole journey. The reason being that we are well versed in the open source and open forums. Most of the open forums we have mentioned here, we have been working very closely and helping out the standards evolve and evangelize. Open platforms and products are being the key of our strategic approach in helping people bring cost-effective solutions to the market. We are very well understanding the vertical domains like media, the health, finance, manufacturing, etc. Because from past many decades, we have been working with these all vertical industries in delivering solutions to them. So we have the domain expertise to understand this. And finally, the digital strategy has been the paramount of the overall strategy of Infosys itself in helping enterprises move across the globe into their roadmap, right? So we believe we can be a real help here in accelerating and enabling this ecosystem and help telcos transform into this what we call as the end-to-end player. And in that regard, Infosys also has tried to put what we call as the 5G Living Lab across the globe in helping this ecosystem to be brought together and connect the use cases with the network and bring that end-to-end view to the market. Now, one of the key questions which we get when we talk about the 5G Edge and its use cases, whenever we go and talk to different forums, is what all are those use cases which basically 5G and Edge can have, right? Or what is the 5G and Edge typical use cases? So there is no, a single answer to it. But the rightful answer would be that the capabilities which 5G and Edge provides, like the ultra low latency, then very high bandwidth at the scale of theoretical limit is 20 gig, but at least few gigs of bandwidth should be definitely possible with 5G. And the enablement for machine-to-machine communication, sky is the limit, right? There are so many use cases which are ideally possible. But the most commonly talked ones and the ones which we feel we have potential and the ones which we are spending effort on includes the immersive media, which is the virtual reality at the edge gaming, teleporting, infotainment, etc. And from a IoT perspective, it will be mostly smart spaces like smart cities, smart building, smart farming, etc. And from a low latency, ultra low latency perspective, it will be all about remote guided vehicles, RGVs, autonomous guided vehicles, AGV, then the connected vehicles by itself, like connected cars, then the robotics. These are the ones which we see more from a low latency perspective. We have some good examples to talk about as well in the coming slides, where we have really deployed some use cases and produced some results and experiences to the users. So with that note, we'll try to cover 2 or 3 very interesting case studies or use cases which we have practically worked on. The first one I want to talk about is private 5G enabling smart manufacturing and autonomous factory vehicles. So this is something which we have done for a leading auto manufacturer in Europe. So here the problem statement was the customer was looking for a reliable wireless connectivity mechanism in his factory, which is the production where the production happens, to 2 use cases. One is he wanted to make sure that whenever basically the manufacturing happens, the different types of manufacturing production lines basically needs to be configured at different point of time. Auto manufacturers typically has trucks, SUVs, MUVs, and cars, all coming from the same brand. So the production line configuration needs to be changed according to the demand for each of these things, somewhat dynamically. The current way of factory configuration, wherein it's all connected using wired interfaces, is not giving them the flexibility to make it more smartly and dynamically done. Hence, they wanted a wireless connectivity to be established in the factory floors. The second use case was the remote guided vehicles and autonomous guided vehicles within the factory floor for carrying the materials and spare parts and so on across the factory floors, avoiding human beings, primarily for the health safety reasons, plus also like to may bring more efficiency. Now, the why private 5G? Because any of the previous existing network connectivity mechanism like Wi-Fi is not suitable, because Wi-Fi can go up to Wi-Fi 6. If you take, even it can go up to certain 1 gig theoretical bandwidth. Beyond that, it cannot go. And more importantly, the vertical handover features of Wi-Fi is not good enough to handle remote guided vehicles kind of scenario where you need a very seamless and resilient connection, right? Hence, the idea of private 5G, and we are currently, deploying private 5G in the factory floors of this auto manufacturer, where it is already sort of in place, and we are trying to integrate it with the RGV and AGV, which is the mode guided vehicles and autonomous guided vehicle scenarios for the integrated working, which I just now explained. So this is a very interesting use case, and we hope that this come to the limelight and then it becomes mainstream soon. Next one is a multi-access edge computing enabling business edge application. So here we have been working with the telco in and trialing this concept of attaching the edge compute to a 5G network and making sure that the business applications can be moved to the edge without actually losing the security and the reliability as well as the latency requirements for that application, right? So you can visualize that in the future, the premises which are currently hosting these applications on premise, example would be a bank or a retail, they are doing it primarily because of the latency reasons or the security reasons. They cannot keep it in cloud because the cloud is many hops away, and there are chances of security breaches which can happen if you put things far away in the cloud, or latency will also be a problem. So they are keeping it in premises. But if the edge can be provided as close to the enterprise premise, which is just one hop away, just being separated by using a very high bandwidth, then they don't have to keep all these applications on premise. They can move all of them to the edge. So that is the concept which we are talking here, and this is something which we have integrated, trialed with 5G. It has produced the good throughput results. It has proved that like application latency and security is maintained as if it is on premise, and versus like a cloud. So the applications which we tried was media application, virtual media application, and some business applications, which those are the ones which we tried to prove this concept. So again, a very interesting use case, very, very useful use case for telecom service providers to be who wants to move vertically up towards the business edge, right? The next use case which I want to talk about, the last one in this series, is the immersive media using the power of 5G and edge. So immersive media, in short, is the virtual reality of the media streaming. So virtual reality, many people in the call would be knowing as well. It gives you the experience as if like you are immersed in that area, right? But immersive media is something bit more, where you can stream content live from a event, a sports event like a football or cricket, and that 360-degree content comes to a edge, and in the edge basically get mixed with the digital content like scoring or advertisements or any other things which you want to add from a media perspective, and then delivered it over a very high bandwidth network like 5G into your endpoint. So that's how the immersive media is going to work across the 5G and edge. So the experience result is you will feel as if like you are actually immersed in that environment, and you are watching it as if you are sitting inside inside that area. If you are watching, say, for example, a cricket match over immersive media, you will feel that you are sitting inside the stadium and watching it, than like you are watching it on a TV. This also brings like other advantages and functionalities. Like for example, if you want to change the location of viewing, so you are watching the match from the bowler's end, and now you want to watch the match from the batsman's end. That's not possible in a physical infrastructure, right? So here actually you can do that. You can change the angle of the viewing, and you can actually move around, which we call the teleporting inside the immersive media. Then you can bring up whatever digital content inside, like statistics, right? I mean, more statistics can be added. Then you can on demand bring them up and then watch. Then you can also like share the immersive area with a friend or a relative who is watching the same game using an immersive equipment, and then you can actually watch together. So all of them are quite possible using immersive media. Again, as I explained earlier, 5G and Edge are inevitably important components which actually help to enable this use case, right? We have done this for an Australian sports event a year back, and we are also talking to a few telcos in seeing whether we can bring this on the edge, right? That's another interesting use case which we have worked on and practically produced some results. Now, to summarize, what you have heard so far is we talked about what is really the promise of 5G and Edge. We demystified the technology by telling you how it actually will move from the current state over the next few years or a decade, and how it is going to enable the use cases. We talked about what a telco can actually do better by moving into an end-to-end player. Then we talked about the ecosystem complexity of the 5G and Edge. We talked about how Infosys, a software technology provider, can bring this ecosystem together better. We talked about the possibilities of use cases, and we also talked about some of the cases where we have been involved and then making it live to the market, right? So that's all we wanted to cover today from a content perspective. Thank you so much for listening to us. If you have any further questions, please contact us. Our contact information is there. And with that, we could open up for any Q&A. Thank you so much.